Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Keep Up. I'm your host, Dragon Paragon, and with me as always is the illustrious Lord Zod.
Hello.
Zod, this is a pretty cool map here. What is this?
This is a map, obviously, of Middle Earth. This is, picked this up at a Comic-Con up in Boise recently. There was somebody from, Tolkien Illustration, the Tolkien Society group, and I'm like, I had to get a playmat of Middle Earth, because if I'm going to play some cards
That's
Lord of the Rings, I might as well get a cool playmat of Middle Earth.
Yeah, that's super rad. And Middle Earth, that's one of the counties in New Zealand, right?
It is. It's the southern New Zealand.
Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, so southern New Zealand equals the exact middle of the Earth.
Yep.
That's
True
super
story.
cool.
Yeah. It's amazing how that sphere works.
I failed geography.
Okay.
So why don't you tell the folks at home what we're going to be looking at today?
So we got our most recent submission back from CGC Grading. I believe this was this a February submission?
Yes, this was February of this year, actually.
Yeah, February 2025, coming back in the end of May 2025. So the 3 month, right at the 3 month
3
mark.
months is pretty good. Usually I quote 4, so that's not bad at all.
Yep.
So without any further ado, let's look at some cool cards. These cards were submitted by Yukaige over at Blue Fox Unboxing. Thank you very much for being part of the video, Yukaige. This is the Pokeball Holo out of Prismatic Evolutions. You can just barely see that Pokeball pattern there. It's hard to catch the reverse holo on the dark types, especially on camera. But if you can't see it, take our word for it. It's a pretty cool one, and we'll have a nice fancy one right over here, somebabouts. And we'll have the value there for you as well. So that's a lovely card. Yukaige, of course, loves the Houndour line. And here's proof. Here's the Pokeball Holo for the Houndoom at a 9.5.
Nice.
So close to that 10. But lovely card. Absolutely love that guy. And the texturing on the Pokeball Holos, choice. And of course, to remind everybody, the Pokeball Holos came out of Prismatic Evolutions.
Yep.
These next cards were all submitted by Chris, and what a submission. Let's get started because they get crazy. This is, of course, the Charizard out of the Celebrations, the 25th. It's a reprint of the original, which they've reprinted a number of times now. You've got base set 2, the deck exclusive, legendary collections, XY Evolutions, although I think that one had different abilities. And this is the most latest one. Still, at a 9, lovely card, lovely grade.
Heck yeah.
This is the Altart Charizard V from Brilliant Stars, the one where it's fighting the Venusaur. And I'm pretty sure that this is the one where if you have the Venusaur, you can see it fighting the Charizard as well.
Okay.
They did that later on with the Mewtwo VMAX and the Charizard V Star.
Okay.
Each one's card showed the other one on it as they were fighting. It was from their over the shoulder perspective.
Okay.
Which is a really cool thing. I love it when they do stuff like that,
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we're getting past the most important part, which is this is an Altart Charizard at a Gem 10.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, good job.
Sugoi. Sugoi, by the way, is Japanese for, hey, good job, chap.
Okay.
This is the secret rare Pikachu from Cosmic Eclipse. It was probably the first time, maybe not the first time, but it was kind of the early trend for when they started doing the illustration rares that have become very popular and common these days. It would you'll see the full art and whatnot on the older cards. But it took them a while to figure out the illustration style with the trainer, and this is one of those really famous ones from when they first started doing that. That's a really cool card.
Yeah.
It's worth quite a bit ungraded, and I imagine at 8.5 it's probably valued up a little.
Yeah.
This is the illustration rare magic card, which is a lovely card. Now this guy, anybody who was around for the release of Paldean Fates, or is it Paldea Evolved? Paldea Evolved, right? Yeah, Paldea Evolved. Well, remember that this guy was $12 when he first came out, and a lot of people were like, that's kind of high for a Magikarp, isn't it? Anyway, he's nearly $100 now. So at a 7.5, unfortunately, he's probably not worth as much as the ungraded is, which I think is a crying shame. But hey, if you want to get a card like that and you don't want to spend $100, pro tip, buy a 5 through an 8 and then crack the slab.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay.
This is the Wanted Poster Monkey D. Luffy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Out of, there's so many Luffys. This is Emperors in the New World, I believe. Don't quote me on... Oh, it's also right. Yeah, these have it printed on them. Anyway, that's a Gem 10. Lovely, great, about as good as it can get. I did notice this was a bit of an error on the slab here, because it says One Piece Japanese.
I'm pretty good at reading Japanese, I guess, because it looks pretty illegible to me.
yeah, absolutely. So that probably might have to get resent in to get the label replaced, but that's not a big deal. That's not a bad error.
Yeah.
Everything else is correct, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of everything else being correct, this Nami is in lovely shape at a 10. You know what? I'm going to read the label this time. Yeah, this is the one out of Romance Dawn. So that'll be the first one out of the first set.
Okay.
Oh, post errata. That's neat. I did not know this card had an errata on it.
Okay.
I absolutely love the information CGC puts on their slabs. It's so rad.
Yeah, I would not know that either.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of Luffy's, this is going to be the astronaut art parallel from the first set, which is going to be the Romance Dawn. No, that's Pillars of Strength.
Yeah.
Which is, this is the one out of the starter. Oh, damn, this is the one you had to crack a whole bunch of starters to, actually get. That's crazy.
Okay.
At a pristine 10. Grades do not get higher. So we got a Black Label Luffy over here, which is super rad. Congratulations, Chris.
Yep. Heck yeah.
Chris actually has one last card for us, and that is going to be this Bad Man of Jama, which is, of course, one of the SIRs out of Prismatic Evolutions. It's going to be Leafeon, which is one of my favorite evolutions, Glaceon being number 1. Leafeon probably being number 2, frankly.
Yep.
But, at a Gem 10. So, congratulations, Chris, you have made the grade.
Nice.
This next card was submitted by Wesley. Wesley, thank you very much for... Oh, Weston, sorry. Weston, thank you very much for joining. Apologies for calling you Wesley. This is the Lancelot Air Cavalry out of Union Arena. This is from the Code Geass set. If you haven't seen Code Geass and you like Politics Light and giant mecha fights, I highly recommend it. I only say Politics Light not because it doesn't have any. It actually has quite a bit. It's because sometimes they get a bit fantastical. And I, unfortunately, cannot take super seriously any anime that has a quote-unquote chess master use the Bong Cloud opening. The Bong Cloud opening is moving the kingside pawn one space and then following up with the king. It's called the Bong Cloud because chess masters agree that the only reason you would use that opening is if you were high out of your mind. It is that bad. So, yeah, watching Lelouch do that in the anime kind of dulls his credence as a chess master. But yeah, great anime regardless. So these next ones actually are mine.
Oh, let's see what you get.
This is the Japanese Master Ball print reverse hollow out of 151 for the ball picks at an 8.5, which, hey, if I get an 8, I'm happy. So I'm, pretty happy about that one. I did, however, hedge my bets, which is a bit confusing because they both came back as an 8.5. So
very consistent.
You gotta have something going for you.
Yep.
So I now have my Vulpix twins, which is great. And the Reverse Hollow Ninetales out of Surging Sparks, which of course I'm trying to get the master set, so I'm setting them all in. Came back at a 9. Very happy about that. Very good grade.
Heck yeah.
And these next ones were submitted by Wow Yao, which is, I believe, the first time Wow Yao has been submitted onto the show. Wow Yao, welcome aboard. Thank you very much. Here is the art rare for Grodel out of Wild Force, which I absolutely love the Japanese names for the sets.
Yeah.
What do you think would be your favorite? Because we've seen a couple of the Japanese sets here.
I kind of really like Snow Crash.
Snow Crash is really... Oh, Snow Hazard.
Or Snow Hazard, yeah.
Yeah, Snow Hazard was pretty good.
And Clayburst.
Clayburst, pretty good.
Those were...
Cyber Judge. Love Cyber Judge. Oh, man. Wild Force, top tier.
Yeah.
So at a 9, absolutely lovely card. Absolutely lovely grade. Typically you see a little bit higher on the Japanese ones, but I believe these actually traveled from Japan in somebody's luggage.
Okay.
So you may expect them to be a bit lower. So this is the art rare Phanpy, which this card is so cute.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's
just playing around.
Yeah. The Japanese version is much cheaper than the English version, and as you can see on this card, there's not a whole lot of text on it.
Yeah.
If you want a version of this card, I highly recommend you pick up yourself one of the Japanese ones. It's super easy right now.
Heck yeah.
And here is one of my absolute favorites that I'm really glad to see somebody sent in. Wow, y'all, thank you very much for letting us feature it on the show. That is the Wug Trio art rare.
Yeah.
It's got the shiny Wug Trio on it, of course, and I absolutely love Wug Trio because they're a bunch of silly noodle boys who are actually exceedingly violent. Read their Pokedex entries. They're horrifying. So that's all the cards we had for today. Thank you very much for peeking in, guys. Hope you had a good time. And here we're going to have the explanation of how to find a hypotenuse by Lord Zod.
The hypotenuse of a triangle is equal to the square root of the sum of the two sides. So you go x squared plus y squared equals z squared. It's the hypotenuse.
Well, I'm very disappointed to not have put him on the spot. I'll find a harder math problem.
But that's actually a Pythagorean theorem, so the hypotenuse has to deal with the square root or something like that.